Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing another Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. This one is a community cast sent in by Hero of Rome, and he's up against the Dark Elves. So this should be a fun one. So as you can see, he's playing as the Sons of Sigmar themselves, the Empire, and yeah, it's a pretty cool army. So here you can see he's got Balthazar Gelt, so he's quick enough to run away from dragons. Dark Pegasi, maybe not quite so much, but then, you know, if Morathi's chasing him down, he does have a lot of ranged here that can scare her off. So Balthazar, I think a pretty good pick in this matchup. I think he can get some work done. Also, you can see he's got swordsmen in the front line with some chevrons. They're up to a silver chevron already. He's got some great swords in the back. More of the swordsmen, you know, with the chevrons. You can see with the chevrons, they've actually got pretty good stats. So 35 and 37 is pretty good. It's not half bad. And with the shields, although they're only bronze shields, they can, you know, sort of shrug off some of the dark shard fire and things that you know, sort of expect. Sigmar Sons in the front, of course, right in the middle, so nice unbreakable centre there, which is very useful. In the back, you can see he's got 3 units in Knights of the Blazing Sun. So these knights are going to be crucial in this combat. He's also got some spearmen, again, a lot of chevrons on him, so they're going to have a lot better stats. So you can see leadership up to 69 and 22 and 39, so 39 melee defense is pretty good. So here you can see he's got Sterling's Revenge and the Silver Bullets. So it's pretty cool army. So a lot of state troops, which I like to see, and yeah, a lot of Knights of the Blazing Sun. Clearly Myrmidia's got a vested interest in seeing the Dark Elves fail today. So if we go over here, you can see he's got Malekith on a cold one, which I think is a good pick. It's a lot cheaper than the dragon, and he's got some very good anti-large, so he's quite good at dueling a lot of the big sort of heroes, and he can't get quite as surrounded when he's on that. Obviously a dragon, much bigger target, so you know, he can be hit from a lot more sort of angles if he's on a dragon. So it's the more defensive option. Obviously he doesn't have the breath attacks or anything. So it's definitely, yeah, it's more forgiving, I think. So here you can see he's got a load of dread spears and bleak swords and corsairs in the front line, so very cool infantry force here. Some dread spears in the back to ward off any, you know, cavalry engagements that might come in after his dark shard. So here he's got 3 units of dark shards. He hasn't brought the shields because chances are, you know, if it's handgunners, they're not really going to have line of sight on a lot of them. And yeah, crossbows you don't often see because usually you really want to shoot through armor. Because there's a lot of very dangerous armoured things. So it's very rare you're going to see crossbowmen with the firing arc that can actually, you know, reach these dark shards. So yeah, fair enough, no need for the shields there. He's also got some witch elves in the back, which are just great at catching out units. And he's also got some cold one knights, which you don't often see, but having some anti-large there is pretty useful. And their mass is definitely handy, so you get these on something, you know, it can be very useful. But they don't tend to trade very favourably. You really need combined arms for these guys to work. But then, you know, the Empire tends to rely on combined arms too, so I guess you're on an even footing there. So let's speed things up and see how it goes. So Balthazar, he managed to bait out some shots here, and as you can see, first target is Sigmar Sons. These guys are going to be an absolute nightmare to deal with. So if you can do a lot of damage for, you know, very cheap, you know, it's a free spell, Gaze of Malice. So if you get some free damage on them, it's probably worthwhile. So yep, baiting out some attacks there. Some of them did actually hit those swordsmen. So a chill wind as well. But these silver bullets can reach Malekith. They can stalk, so maybe he hadn't seen them. So he didn't realise he was walking into range there. But it's safe to assume if there's a big hole in the middle of your army there, there's probably the silver bullets are amongst that. So the Corsairs now have a much easier time dealing with Sigmar Sons now they've been softened up. And yeah, it's just going to be pretty even across the board, just infantry attacking infantry. And we'll have to wait and see what else happens. So here you can see the Knights of the Blazing Sun charge in to help out the Sigmar Sons, and they do a ton of work against Corsairs. But Malekith is charging in here. Plague of Rust has been placed on the Cold One Knights to lower their armour. So they're down to 60 armour, which is still quite good. Spearmen are coming in to, you know, help out these Knights of the Blazing Sun. So now the Knights can turn around, pin these guys in place. They're probably going to rampage. There we go. And now the Spearmen can finish them off pretty easily. But Sigmar Sons are really struggling here. They're down to very few units. But, you know, most of the stuff here has been dealt with, which is pretty great. So Knights of the Blazing Sun have been, you know, just charging in a few different places to try and get some extra damage in, help their front line out, which is very good, using them as, like, front line attackers. It's very handy. Oh, and they're all Blackguard and Agarond in here as well. So that's going to be very scary to deal with. Yeah, you don't want to be dealing with that. So here you can see a final transmutation lands on all these guys, which is great. But now Murderous Prowess is procced, so the front line of the Dark Elves should be able to puncture through a lot of these guys. Because I mean, Blackheart Corsairs with Murderous Prowess up to 45 melee attack. So against the 30 melee defense of the Greatswords, that's looking a bit rough, to be honest. But Knights of the Blazing Sun coming in from either side, doing a lot of damage here. It's going to be very scary indeed. These Dark Shards, are very important to keep alive. They've mostly been focusing on the range contingent, and they have been pretty devastating so far. These Knights of the Blazing Sun, unfortunately, couldn't stay in this fight very long. So the Spearman here fighting Malekith, which is great. That's exactly what you want your Spearman to be doing. Just, you know, bogging down something expensive and getting good value from that anti-large bonus, you know. So Balthazar, he's come in to try and pin down these last Dark Shards. And now you can see all the Knights are having a whale of a time. These Knights of the Blazing Sun did get hit by the Witch Elves, but luckily they have broken. They weren't really supported by anything, because Witch Elves are pretty squishy. So as long as, you know, if they do rampage someone, yeah, it'll keep them in place for a while, but most of the things they rampage will be able to kill all the, you know, all the Witch Elves. Unless it's infantry, but with the cavalry, especially heavy cav, they will be able to win out, so you really want something to back them up. That's what you want, really. Witch Elves, they'll pin something in place, and then you can capitalise with some other unit. So, unfortunately, the Witch Elves are being chased off. Looks like the Spearmen... Okay, they're changing onto the Dark Shards now. And all the Knights retreated. They're making sure these Dark Shards cannot come back. And they're now going to make sure the same thing here, so the Witch Elves can't come back, because they've got a lot of utility. So, Knights of the Blazing Sun working overtime here. These ones charged in to try and help against the Bleak Swords and the Corsairs. So that's pretty great. Power of Darkness lands on these Bleak Swords to give Malekith some more Winds of Magic, but it is going to hurt the Bleak Swords, so that is something. So Balthazar still harrying these Dark Shards to make sure that they can't get any shots off. And now it means these silver bullets can fire into these lines. So there is actually a very strong contingent of Dark Elves over here. So there's still some Corsairs, even more Corsairs, a load of Black Guard, and some Dread Spears. This flank won very decisively for the Dark Elves. These guys are still, you know, pretty even. But you can see the Swordsman here, and yeah, just Swordsman actually. There are the Great Swords. The Great Swords have managed to win over here, so now hopefully they can come in and help finish off these Spearmen on this side. Because if you can win this flank, then you're kind of even, right? But Malekith is doing a great job of harrying the back line, trying to keep the silver bullets from firing, and now the Spearmen can pin down these infantry. So here you can see the Dark Shard still being dealt with by Balthazar. He's taking a ton of damage though. And now the Black Guard are coming in. The Black Guard can deal with basically anything in this blob. But it's not necessarily the best use for them. You really want them on the cav. But yeah, you try and chase a horse in heavy armor. It's not easy. So here you can see now Malekith is getting charged. He's trying to deal with them with the Knights of the Blazing Sun. Of course, Malekith on the cold one, he does have an anti-large bonus. No, he doesn't. I'm an idiot. He's just got a lot of armor piercing, which will still definitely help. And he does have very good combat stats. 65 melee attack against the 24 melee defense of the Knights of the Blazing Sun. That's not ideal. That's actually really low. I didn't realize how low their melee defense was. They rely on their armor a lot. So against armor piercing units, they're going to struggle. So here the Dread Spears weren't braced, and Power of Darkness has landed on these guys too. So again, they're going to be taking damage from that. But it means that Malekith is going to have a lot more spells. So that Chill Wind, that's actually going to trigger the armor sundering. So 85 armor now on the Knights of the Blazing Sun. Those Spearmen are going to have a much easier time. But they did get very damaged. And now Silver Bullets get to shoot to the flank of these Black Guard, which is perfect. You know, these Spearmen are just doing their job fantastically, just pinning an expensive unit in place so something can fire. So like I said, you've got to have that combined arms with the Empire, with most of your engagements. So Balthazar is actually charging Malekith, which is definitely a bold move, but you know, he does have the support of some Knights of the Blazing Sun. He should be able to get a bit of damage in there. So yep, more handgun fire, beautiful, but that Chill Wind, it's gonna do a lot of damage, but they're still on 34 models, which is a lot. I mean, look at their health. Say they have 34 models. It means like each of those have got like 3 health. It's mad. So, yep, huge amount of damage to the Black Guard. They're down to 19 models, which is brilliant. This is exactly what you want to do. So have them pinned by something cheap, and you can do as much work as you like, which is fantastic. But Malekith, very clever to try and deal with them with spells, because these guys are going to get so much value now that he has no mobility left, apart from Malekith, who is stuck in this combat. And actually, he's not faring particularly well, which I find very surprising. And here you can see, everything is losing the fight, so they all shatter. Silver Bullets managed to get away from the Black Guard. Good for them, good for them. So Pyrrhic victory is hard fought. It is great seeing the Empire doing well against, you know, the Dark Elves, that are a very competitive faction. Dark Elves are very good, but great use of Knights. I mean, look at this. Using them purely as like support, I think is great. Just having them charge in and just sort of tip the balance of each engagement into the Empire's favour. You know, allow just cheap things like swordsmen and spearmen to win engagements against far better infantry. Because, you know, you're getting that damage in there nice and early. I think it's really good. Also, it's great that he had all the spearmen in reserve, because, yeah, he was able to just bait, you know, the Cold One Knights into an engagement and plug up the gap with the spearmen. And then he lost all his mobility, only 16 kills, and some of them would have just been against spearmen, you know? So really great being able to shut down something so maneuverable, and yeah, just completely overwhelming the dark shards in the back line while everything was pinned. It's great to go this wide. It was really impressive, and the greatswords actually had a field day. Look at that. I think that was the one fighting Corsairs and Blackguard on one side, and this one was the one fighting, you know, Dread Spears and Bleak Swords, but it was fantastic. This worked out really well. It was a very cool battle. So, Hero Rome, thank you so much for sending this in. And, guys, if any of you want to send in any replays, you can email them to me at JanetOnOccasion@gmail.com. So all one word, JanetOnOccasion. And yeah, and I'd love to have a look at them, because I'm hoping to do more community casts, because I haven't done many in a while. I've been sent a ton of them, and I'm trying to go through them, but I'm getting to them, because Hero Rome, he sent me this a couple of weeks ago, I think now. So yeah, I'm slowly getting to them, but yeah, I want to do a load, because it's a lot of fun. I love seeing what you guys, you know, bring to the table. It's a lot of fun for me just to see how other people are playing the different factions, and I'm sure it's great for other people to see that, you know, on my channel. So yeah, so send them in. So guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.